My name is Jeanette Welch, and I'm the owner of Many Paths to Healing. And one of the healers I really enjoy working with is Cathy Chapman. She works with mind-body psychology, and we're going to go into an interview where she describes what she does and how it works in improving each of your health issues.
You know, mind-body psychology is just a fascinating area, and because what it does, it's a holistic model that takes the mind of the person, their mental aspect, combines with their emotional aspect, and what's not mentioned in that is their spiritual aspect also, and how it interacts with and affects the body. And so what I do when somebody comes to me is that whatever their issue is, say for instance they're coming in with me for cancer, I let the doctors, their healthcare professional, deal with the cancer idea, and then what I do is work with them on the mental, emotional, and spiritual causes of that dis-ease and help them to release that. And I do it energetically. What people don't realize is the medical model is a mechanical model. So the medical model looks at parts of you. That's why you have a surgeon that works with the hip, a surgeon that works with the knees. That's why you have an endocrinologist, an internist that's supposed to know some things, but if you have something going on with your brain, then you're supposed to go to the urologist. So the medical model also looks at things in a disease model. So that means they're looking at what is wrong with you. And one of the things that we know when you look for what is wrong, that's exactly what you're going to find. Now, I work from a spiritual energetic model. Now, what that means is that yes, the body is here, but it's a system. So when we talk about mind-body psychology, we're talking about the mental, emotional, spiritual, and the physical. We look at it as a system. So in the research that you were talking about in regards to how the emotions affect the body, now that with our wonderful science that we have, is that we can have a person experience an emotion and literally check the enzymes in their saliva, for instance, and find out what's happening to their immune system. We can also discover by taking blood tests, we can also discover other biochemicals that are occurring. In the medical model, they would give you a drug to help with the digestion. I would go and look for where is it that you have frozen fear? Where is it that you're still feeling stressed? And teach you things like meditation, do energy balancing with the different energy forms that I do. Most people don't realize that spirituality is an integral part of ourselves. It is our spirituality which assists us in being able to love, because love is a spiritual concept. And what happens with spirituality is it takes us beyond our physical self. It's like beyond our body. And we are able to contact something unknown that we don't really understand. And I'm not talking about religion here, Jeanette. You have to realize I'm not talking about religion at all.
Right.
Because they're two different concepts. We would hope that people who are involved in a religion are also spiritual, but that's not necessarily true. They're caught up in the dogma and in the rules. People who are spiritual tap into the love aspect. They tap into that ability to forgive, to let things go. They tap into the acceptance part. When you look at like brain scans, you may have the brain going pow, 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 and you may have the heart going, I can't do it too at the same time, but in disagreement with each other. You focus on the heart, you go into that area in the spiritual, and what we find is they become entrained. They come together. And I've been studying some of the newer brain research, and one of the things that they're finding is that you can literally heal the physical brain by connection. And you can't connect except spiritually. So my ideal client is someone who comes in who is searching for what is happening in their life, searching for the answer, and are willing to take the steps. Unfortunately, there are people that come in and they want to make excuses. They're continually making, well, it's my father did this, my mother did this, well, it's this person and this person. I want a client who is willing to say, oh, wow, I had responsibility in this. How can I change this? My anger just blew out. How can I change this? That's my ideal client, someone who is willing to trust me as someone who's been doing this for 35 years and has some expertise and is willing to take my advice, even if it doesn't seem right. Because I don't give anything against anybody's morals. Let's just try it and see. I'm willing to see if it doesn't work, but so much of this works. So my ideal client is someone who's searching, someone who's ready to change, and someone who's willing to trust me. Really, all the client has to want to come in to do is to change, and the body will lead me where it goes. The client can't hide that. Well, I only use 2 primary modalities at a distance. I use 3 in person, and those 3, the number 1 is body talk. And in body talk, it's a process of connecting with the physical body and assisting the communication within the body. So the organs, so the liver and the pancreas, which get into disagreement all the time. With body talk, I actually communicate with what we call innate wisdom. In another area that I work with, I call it the body soul. Mm-hmm. And find out who's not communicating, and I go in as a therapist in a sense, holding that in my consciousness and getting them to talk to each other. We can go down to the very proteins of the RNA and the DNA. We can go into the very organelles of the cell to do this. I almost always start off with body talk because that gives me a feel of where the individual is. I also use a process called Psych-K, Psych-K, and that works with belief systems. And I integrate body talk and Psych-K frequently because you'll get to a certain point in doing the body talk where there is an underlying belief that's preventing it. So let's say we're getting to a place where somebody really the body can balance and then it can heal. But there's an underlying belief that nobody will pay attention to me if I'm well. So in Psych-K, I go through the process and I decide whether I'm going to do it the Psych-K way or the body talk way. But I get to the belief that's there, and it could be a simple belief of I deserve to have a healthy body and healthy relationships. And so that can change. Those are the 2 primary modalities. Now sometimes when I'm seeing someone in the office, hypnotherapy is a wonderful way to get in touch with what is going on a deeper level. I don't do hypnotherapy on the telephone. There's some people who do. I don't do that. I want to be able to see what's going on in their face. You know, one of the big things with drugs, with medication, prescriptions are side effects. Mm-hmm. Body talk can actually go in and balance some of those things. I've seen remarkable results from it. Can also balance the body, which is, we have a thing called body chemistry, and actually balance the body so that the infection goes away even faster. I've had some clients who go to a doctor and they'll be doing some of these things and they'll say, whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Right.
Because my background is I was in the convent for 20 years, so I was really connected spiritually in a traditional religious aspect. And we pray for people, and our belief as we pray in a traditional Christianity is that it doesn't matter where they are, you can pray for them. You don't have to be next door across the street 2 inches away or touching to be connected with their energy. So I can do distance healing on the phone, or I don't have to do distance healing talking to them at all. I know who they are, I connect with their energy, heart to heart. I just imagine them in front of me, sending a beam of energy from my heart to their heart. I then ask Spirit to fill me with all the love needed, all the wisdom needed to be able to transmit to them, and then I start doing my work. The website is pretty complete in regards to my history, to my background, and the different modalities that I use. People they'll email me and say, I want to talk to you about what you do, and I send them to the website. And I said, have you read my website? No, I haven't had a chance to do that. Well, go do that. What they want to do is to have a connection with me. And I said, go read my website, and I want you to just see what resonates with you. Maybe body talk stands out for you, or maybe you really resonate to Psych-K or hypnotherapy or one of the other things that I do. And once you do that, go ahead and email me. Now, I also have another site called groupdistancehealing.com, and I will send people to that site to get a little document on basically the soul healing prayer. And And that document contains information about how wounds occur and how you can heal them from a spiritual level. So I also will work with them to get in touch, help them to get in touch spiritually. And almost all of my clients get the soul healing prayer. We haven't even talked about that yet, but all my clients get the soul healing prayer as a way to start working and healing with themselves. Well, I can tell you why I go to third parties like me, and that is because I am really good at fooling myself. And many times I can't see what's right here in front of my face, which you might be able to see, even though I am a licensed therapist. Think of me, though, as a coach. Why does Michael Jordan, or why did Michael Jordan need a coach? We all make excuses, and when we have somebody that forces us to look at our excuses. When I was in the convent, I was a baby nun, and so we were in a process called formation. And my formation director would say, there are good reasons and there are real reasons. And we have a tendency to bring out the good reasons. When you do something out of fear, that's not a decision. Mm-hmm. That's an avoidance. Mm-hmm. And that's what somebody like me can help you come to. So I have a few tools that I can use that will say, let's try this, and then you can gain clarity, and then you can make a decision.
Thank you, Cathy, for sharing with us, because I think what you offer to people is a very important component of health and a life filled with joy.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you for having me.